Hello everybody, and welcome to another replay analysis, where we break down somebody's gameplay in good and bad ways. We figure out what's going on, and Sir Gamer More, if you wouldn't mind telling me what league you're in again, let me know. I'm not actually sure what league this is, but we'll continue our intro. Basically, we just help the person figure out how to play the game in a better way. We look at their mistakes, help them fix them, and look at what they're doing right, and maybe help them fix it even more, because sometimes people, even though they do the right thing, they might not do it the most efficient way. So we'll definitely be helping Sir Gamer More in a PvP figure out what he wants to do. We'll keep in mind also it is platinum level. That's what he just confirmed. This is platinum level PvP. So without further ado, let's fucking do it. Let's get this going. Alright. Let's see. So we got a PvP. Got a nice pylon. I was a little bit late on that pylon, but not the biggest of deals. It's only a little bit of a big deal because you're going to have a supply block now. You need to build that pylon like right away. We'll talk about it just for a second because it is kind of important. It does set, like that's already a fuck up that kind of slows you down. Why was it so late? Out of curiosity. You can build it right now at 18 seconds. Now, you don't have another probe queued up. I was curious if you did that for a second, and I'm glad you did not. I would have told you definitely don't do that in the future if you did. But 18 seconds is when it should have gone down. And it goes down at 21. So it's 3 seconds late. And because it's 3 seconds late, you should actually supply block for a second now. So as we see, we'll go forward really fast and right now. And your pylon is starting to finish, but your probe is blocked at 37. Your pylon's starting to phase in. And your probe starts production at 39. So your probe is your pylon's 3 seconds late, which caused your probe to be 2 seconds late. And this means every probe from now on is going to be 2 seconds late. So keep in mind, your first pylon, like just in general, it's always important. But like things like this are so fucking critical. Because now every probe is 2 seconds late, 2 seconds late, 2 seconds late. It's not just the next probe. It's every single probe you make out of this Nexus from now on. Which is going to definitely, you know, that's money you're going to lose. Because every probe is going to mine less than it could have now. So it's a big deal. Alright, we have a gateway. There should be a gas going down now as well. And there should be a chrono boost going on this Nexus right now. Chrono that Nexus, boy. Also start another probe. Okay, so just keep in mind too, you should actually chrono boost your Nexus, like, immediately. The second you build that gas, immediately hit that chrono boost on that Nexus. So it should be, your chrono boost should be a little bit faster too, by probably like 5 seconds. You're scouting around for cannon rushes, that's totally fine. I like your goal of saturating the mineral line first and not ripping off. You should be starting your second gas. So here's what you should, like, I don't know how you're going to open it. We'll figure it out in a second. But you should be starting your second gas soon. Unless you're going to start your Nexus at 20. If you start your Nexus at 20, I'm okay with it. If you want to go for a fast expo. Okay, you're going for a Nexus, it looks like. So it's okay. You should be building that. Okay. I do not like what's happening now. We'll see what you do. Okay, you just freaked out right there, it seems like. No need to freak out like that. At all. I know you normally build a Nexus, but I don't understand the reaction of building this. And here's what happened. Okay, let's look at it. I feel like you freaked out to the scout. Like you thought like, oh god, what is he going to do? Because you actually decided to cancel the idea of a Nexus before you scouted his base. You literally reacted to the probe. And then you built this again before reacting to this. So this was like, I feel like if I got into your mind right now, it would be like, he's gonna fucking cannon rush! Ah! Fucking build my core second gate! Wait, he's gonna build pylon! I fucking don't like this reaction at all. If you're gonna go double gateway opener, you go double gateway opener. And you commit to it. That's the thing about StarCraft 2 is when you have a plan, you gotta commit to it a bit. You don't just like, abandon your plan and then just do something else. Unless it's like really fucking bad. Like if for instance, if you were like gonna tech to fucking sky toss and you're like, oh wait, my opponent's gonna one base all in me, and then maybe yeah, switch your plan a little bit and maybe like make some fucking early game units. But when it's something as simple as like your build is set up to go for a 1 gate expand because your second gas is delayed, your second gate is delayed, you're saving for a nexus and you're about to build it, and then you go, you know what, fuck it, no, not doing it anymore. That's really bad. It means now your 2 gate opener is really inefficient because your gas is fucking super late, and you're gonna have awkwardly timed gateway number 2 now for the core. A gateway has a much longer build time than a core. So you're going to be like really fucking awkwardly timed, like 10 seconds late on your second stalker or whatever, or your adept or whatever the hell you want to, whatever you're going to make. I would recommend stalkers for sure in Diamond or in Platinum League. But yeah, this doesn't make any sense now. This is way off. You should have just committed to the Nexus. And then now you scout into his base and you see what he's doing. And he's going for 3 gate, 1 gas core. It's a very awkward build. The way you beat a build like this, a player like this, is you literally just make a battery and stalkers. And you would be totally fine. Yo, thank you for the sub, Ivory. Much love, dude. Thank you, thank you. Okay. So your probe died. It's unfortunate. It's okay, though. You already kind of saw what was going on there. Yeah. You're going for a natural anyways. Okay, this makes no sense. You should just... I don't know what it is. I do know what it is. I do know what it is. It's just saying I don't know what it is more of a saying, okay? It's more of a saying. There's something about the way a newer player to StarCraft 2 thinks, or a lower league player thinks. Like, we're talking anyone who's, like, below Diamond League. This happens all the time. Everybody overreacts to what could happen because it has happened in a game of theirs. But a lot of players in lower leagues don't know how to differentiate when something happens at like 90 seconds to when something happens at like 2 minutes or whatever. Like they don't, or like when something happens at 60 seconds in the game. Like they don't pay attention to details like that, like how early it could be. They just pay attention to, my opponent is Protoss. He could go cannons. That's it. But if you paid attention to things like, for instance, yo, Exo, thank you for the 40-month sub. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love. Love you too. Thank you, man. If you paid attention to the fact that like the first probe that's going to cannon rush you gets to your base at like 45 seconds or like 50 seconds. Because why is that? He builds a pylon and then runs across the map. And his second probe he builds a forge on that pylon he just built. So he cannon rushes you starting at like 50 seconds to like a minute. 50 seconds to 60 seconds is when he starts cannon rushing you. But suddenly, a probe runs in your base at like 1 minute 30, 125 or 130, and then that's when the probe runs in your base. And you're like, fucking cannon rush! Shit! It could happen. Like, it's probably not going to happen because it's so late. It's like 30 seconds later. You got to think about shit like this. Like, when let's really look. I really think you reacted to a cannon rush, like a potential of it, and you freaked out and didn't want to expand. This is a big deal. Look at this. Okay, look at your opponent's build really fast. We'll go to his build really quick. Okay, watch this. He builds a probe. He builds a pylon. He goes back to mining. He builds a gateway. He scouts you. Okay? His probe leaves his base. He's on the middle of the ramp leaving his main right now at 47 seconds. Now watch how many seconds it takes to get across the map to your base. He gets to the middle of your ramp at 22 seconds into the next minute. So that's 35 seconds of time. 35 seconds is how long it took him to cross the map, okay? 35 seconds. And he's getting to your base at 122. Now, this is definitely not a cannon rush because it's late as fuck and it's most likely a gateway scout. Now watch this. 122 is when he got to your base, right? He would have got to your base. We'll give him 22 seconds to be here right now. 22 seconds to be here right now. With the if he built the pylon and immediately walked to the ramp. Instead of walking backwards, we'll say he could have been here by 22 seconds. So 35 seconds plus 22 seconds is 57 seconds. He would have been at your base at 57 seconds. So if we go to 57 seconds, he would have been walking up your ramp. He would have been at your base right now. Like your probe that went down to build a Nexus would have actually seen a probe go like this. Like running into the, like your probe as it was like right here would have saw a probe like right there. And it would have been like walking into your base or getting ready to build a pylon right there or something. Like that would have happened now. You gotta have to like learn this shit. Because if you don't, you're gonna panic to everything when it makes no sense. The fact that you went for a Nexus build, 1-gate Nexus, is fine. But the fact that you canceled 1-gate Nexus to go back into fucking double-gate core and then go Nexus before you even build a Stalker is awful. And it's because you overreacted because you freaked out because you thought you were going to die. And there's no reason to freak out right now because there's no pressure right now. And you have to be able to recognize what pressure even looks like. If a player pylon scouts you, it's going to be a cannon rush. Like that's not even a guarantee. It has a chance to be a cannon rush. If a player gateway scouts you, it's definitely not a cannon rush. Like it's very low. It could be, but it's very low chances because it's much easier to defend the cannon rush the later it starts. Because the later it starts, suddenly you have more probes to work with. You have zealot access. You have stalker access faster. All these things. It's just easier to stop it. Yo, Donato, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime. Welcome, dude. Welcome, welcome. So you're gonna have to start understanding timings. And how do you understand timings? Like how is this done? You base his build off of your build. Just base his build off your build. So if you look at your build again, let's go back to your build now. Now we'll talk about your build. You make the gateway, and you could have left your base right now, but you don't. You go build a gas first. And then you run down to the south side of your natural, and then you run across the map. Now, while you're running across the map, you don't quite see a probe, but check this out. Think about it like this, okay? You didn't actually cross paths with this probe, but think about this. Where is your probe right now? Your probe is just outside of his base right now. You're like literally one screen length away from the ramp. This will take you about 8 seconds to get there. Like 6 seconds to get there. It's not that long. And now if you think about that, where is his probe? His probe just entered your base. It's like half a screen length away from the ramp. His probe is, I would say, roughly about 10 to 12 seconds ahead of yours in the travel time. And why is that? Because you sent your probe backwards to build the gas, and then you sent him forward again, and then you sent him down to the bottom of the natural, and then you sent him up. He built the gateway and just went across the map. You should be able to tell that this is a gateway scout based off of your own scout. It's just you had your scout do a fuckload of detours. You had a backwards, forwards, down, up scout. And I would honestly recommend do not have the probe that builds the gateway build a gas. That's just a waste of time. You're literally wasting your time going back and then forward again. Just have a probe literally walk 1 inch, fucking build it, go back to mining like 1 inch again. It's like build, or build mine. It's so fast. It like wastes the probe seconds for like literally 1 second. This is like 4 seconds, 4 seconds. I think that's what panicked me, not seeing it walk across the proxy gate. So I thought proxy gates. Yeah, like, again, it's too fucking fast, man. Think about this, too. If this was proxy gates... if this was proxy gates, okay? If it was proxy gates... I'm going to ask you a question here. This is critical. Like, okay, I'm not going to actually ask you questions. I'm just going to tell you because this is replay analysis. It's not coaching lesson. Asking questions takes way too long. Think about it like this. If this was proxy gates, and he builds pylon gateway, and then he's already also in your base. This is fucking impossible. And why is that? To be like, ViBE, why is that impossible? Tell me. I don't understand. Watch. If his probe is already entering your base at 122, think about this. Where would the proxy gates be? We'll just say the proxy gates are going to be like right here, okay? It takes 35 seconds to cross the map by default. 35 seconds to cross the map. The only way this could be proxy gates is if he literally pulled one of his first 12 fucking probes and ran across the map at 1 second start of the game. He like just ran across and 12 seconds go by and he runs across the map at 12 seconds. Or within like the first second of his first 12 probes is what I meant to say. 35 seconds goes by, he starts a pylon, which is an 18-second build time. Okay. And then 53 seconds in the game now, or maybe like 55 because maybe it took like 1 or 2 seconds to grab the probe. He then starts his gateways. He builds like 3 gates or 4 gates, and then from that point it takes like maybe 5 more seconds to save the money to build these gates, or like 10 seconds to build 4 gates. Let's just say he builds 3 gates and says fuck the 4th gate, so he doesn't wait for it. He builds 3 gates right away after his pylon's done. His pylon's done at like 55. He builds gate. It takes him to like 6 minutes or 60 seconds to build 3 gates because his probe has to build, move, build. So now he's at like 60 seconds for these 3 gates to be done. And then now he has like, his probe is like over here, and then he has 20 seconds to go from here to here, and or like 15 seconds or whatever. Like that's not going to go instantly. It would literally take probably like 12 to 15 seconds from his probe to go from like over here to over here. Probably like 12 seconds. So like there's not much discrepancy there. Like he could have done a first of his 12 probes, run across the map, build those fucking gates, call it a day. We're fucking going crazy. He's gonna proxy you. That could happen. Yes, it could. But that like the only way he would be able to get any of that off this fucking fast is if he just saved, like he stopped building probes the whole time and he was just saving minerals to build gate. Off of like the first 12 probe pylon. Think about this though, okay? Sir Gamer More, think about this. This is where I'm gonna blow your fucking mind, hopefully. So that's unrealistic as fuck, right? It could happen though. It could. But, I mean, he's not building any more gates because his probe is in your base. But imagine if your probe gets here and you react like this. You go, oh fuck. There's nothing here. He's got no gas. He's got 11 probes on the mineral line. Holy shit, this dude is fucking all in. Oh my god. He's fucking all in. He's so all in. You know how you could respond to this? You should have a Nexus already started. You should have a core started. You cancel the Nexus and you wall it off. You just build another gateway. Then you build another gateway and you literally wall the ramp. And you just save Chrono Boost to make... You can make a Stalker or a Zealot first while your core's under construction, because it could just be made. And you'd have a lot of money then. You can make even another gateway back here to go like 3-gate defense with like a second pylon or something. And then just start Chrono Boosting out Stalkers. And as soon as the core is done, make like a 2 battery or 1 battery. And you would be fine. You would have been totally fine, because his Zealots would be like stuck at the door being like, punch the gateway 2 at a time. And there would be like, if there's like 4 Zealots here, it's like 2 hitting this gateway, 2 hitting that gateway. And then his Zealots that are further in the back would just be like behind the other Zealots being like, fuck, we can't do anything. Shit. We're just waiting to get in the base. And if you just get a couple of Stalkers out, you just win the game, because Stalkers can kite Zealots indefinitely. So it makes no sense to freak out about a proxy gate. You could scout it and react to it. The fact that you're scouting means there's no sense, there's no point in freaking out. The only thing that would necessarily be like this reaction, the freak out reaction, was more appropriate if it was a cannon rush, because he could build a cannon rush literally in your base. If he started a pylon down here, you could be like, fuck, oh god, I need more gates because I'm freaking out. But even then, it doesn't make sense, because it's late as fuck. It's super late. Like this is classic platinum and below overreactions right here. It already fucked your build up. Anyways, moving forward. You gotta understand timers. Start paying attention to timers, and suddenly overreactions make no sense. Like if I was sitting next to you watching you play this game, I'd be like, wait, why aren't you building a Nexus? And then you walk the probe with the ramp and you're like, he's proxying, and I would just be like, just build it. Just build it. And then I'd force you to fucking build that Nexus, and then 5 seconds later when you saw this, I'd be like, well, he's not proxying you. He is looking like he's gonna be aggressive, but it's not a proxy. And if it was a proxy, and you know, there's nothing here, I would have been like, okay, cancel the Nexus. You already have the core started anyways. Just build a gate now. You're fine. People fucking overreact so hard in lower leagues. Okay. Okay. What was that chrono gateway for? I think you're overreacting again. Dude, you overreact to everything. Holy shit. That's what it seems like. Like, you weren't chronoing anything, and then the second the probe walked in your base, you chronoed a gate. I would say you don't need to chrono a gate right now. I'm fucking glad, though, that you at least built another stalker to utilize the chrono after the first one finished. That makes me happy. I would have been sad if you would have just let a chrono sit on the gate and nothing was happening. So that's good. But you didn't need to chrono this. Because now you know what he's doing, which is even more inefficient than what you're doing. Like, you did a build that was awkwardly inefficient for what you were opening with, and he's doing a build that's even more fucking inefficient, where he goes 3 gates, 1 gas, and a core. Like, what the fuck is this build? If he expands too, it makes literally no sense. He should attack you. He's making zealots to walk across them. Okay. Like, this build is super shit. I'm sorry, Zeth, if you're listening. Please don't be sad. The fact that you're making stalkers is good, okay? You can kite zealots all day. And by the time he gets to your base, you're going to have 4 of them. So you can kill zealots in like 3 volleys, basically. Or maybe 4. They'll die very fast. You should just literally start saturating your natural, pull your stalkers to the front of your natural, and call it a day. Let's see what happens.
I am here in the shadows.
Okay, so you're making probes. I feel like you're not making probes all the time either. I feel like your Nexus had a lot of missed time. Okay, now we have 4 zealots approaching your base right now. What happens here with you? Okay. Now, I'm not expecting the world's best micro from Platinum. No one freak out, okay? This is Platinum League. I'm not like, what am I watching? It's okay, it's Platinum. I don't even want you to micro in Platinum, to be fair. I really don't even want you to micro in Platinum at all. But here's a great way you could have fucked this over. Here's a great way you could have fucked this over. It would have been totally fine. It's literally the same fucking thing I just told the person I was coaching earlier today, like in an actual coaching lesson. And it is, what did you scout? Triple gateway opener before natural. And this was after you reacted this way, by the way. If you would have reacted, if you would have scouted this after having a Nexus, which is what you should have done, you would have more probes than you do already. You would have more money than you do already. The way you would react to that when 4 zealots walk up your ramp is you would actually right-click the middle of your middle line, recall all your probes at your natural, to your natural from your main, and just fucking get them all over here and A-move the zealots. And you're fine. Okay, I'm joking. Don't do that. I just wanted someone to be like, wait, yeah, this vibe sounds good. Wait, what the fuck is he saying? I'm just joking. Don't do that. Obviously, you're obviously not going to do that. But for real, okay, the real answer. Real answer. If you went for a Nexus first at your natural, okay, and you scouted a guy going triple fucking gateway, I would have been like, you know what you should do now? Make your second pylon next to your Nexus. Because watch this. Watch. Look at your probe. Look at your probe when you could have scouted and made the Nexus. So you freaked out and you were like, fucking build this right now. Ah! You didn't need to do that. You did not need to do that. You could have made a Nexus, and you scouted this as you would have made the Nexus. You then could have taken this same probe that would have built the Nexus and built a pylon next to it. And why is this important? If you build a Nexus and a pylon and a core, that pylon will be done next to your Nexus pretty fast, which you can then build a battery at when you can afford it, And you could have afforded your battery after you started your stalker and your probes in your fucking Nexus. And then you'd have another gateway under construction as well. That'd be fine. I wouldn't mind if you added on a second gateway early after you built the core, the Nexus, and the pylon. And you could add in a second gate then as a reaction to this. And you could be like, I'll just go 2 gateway unit production with a battery. And you're good. That's totally fine. You could have sat there with those stalkers, microed literally nothing, not even moved 1 inch, and you might lose 1 stalker. If you get really bad AI of stalkers all shooting different zealots, you'd probably lose like 1 stalker. But if all your stalkers shot like the same zealot because 1 zealot was walking in first and all your AI stalkers just shot the same one by chance, you'd probably lose no stalkers. Like the zealots would probably die before the battery ran out of energy because he would eliminate some of his DPS really fast. So either way though, you would have been fine. You would have been great. And if you even had like the little bit of micro there, you don't have to, but if you chose to, if you're like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to grab my stalkers and for like just 2 auto attacks, I'm going to back up, attack, move, back up, attack, move, and I'm going to kite him twice. That's like 8 free hits that you can shoot the zealots with and not take any damage. Just to throw this out there for anyone who doesn't know this, a stalker can kill infinity zealots because a stalker can take 0 damage and kill zealots because a stalker is a ranged unit that hits relatively hard and it runs faster than a zealot. So a stalker can stop, shoot, run, stop, shoot, run, stop, shoot, run. And a zealot could the entire time can be like on run command at a stalker, trying to smack it once. And if a stalker is microed, it will never, ever, ever get hit once. Because it can run faster. So, yeah, that's it's a big deal, right? Like, again, you don't have to do that. A battery would have solved the problem for you anyways. But that's something that could happen too. Like, you could micro it if you wanted to. But again, a battery. A battery is all you need. It's all you need. Because he has 3 gateway opener.
I am here in the shadows.
And see how you built this pylon really fucking late? It doesn't matter if you build a battery now here, because even if you did, it would have been too late. A battery has a 29-second build time. So even if you started it now, it wouldn't be done until 3:57. And at 3:57, that's before the zealots are here already by then. See, like 3:57, the battery would be finishing as the fight was like ending. Your battery would finish right now. Right now, the battery would be just finishing right now, with how you set up. If you built it when you finish this pylon, and the fight's over. So definitely have a bit of a reaction to that, and know that like, oh well, if I'm going for a fast expand and he's going for 3-gate pressure, I'm the defender, and if I'm the defender, what helps in defending situations? Make a battery. Oh my god, that strobe light, fucking stream light is like freaking me out. It's so obnoxious. You guys can't see it, but I totally can. Just make a battery. I gotta turn it off, dude. I'm sorry. That thing is so annoying. 1 sec. That thing was like strobing hardcore. I hope it doesn't fuck my green screen up. You chrono boosted a Colossus out here. Oh shit. Okay, so okay, I don't agree with the warp prism at all. I don't know what the point of this warp prism is. Zero purpose to this. The point of a warp prism is if you have a gateway timing in your mind, or if you're going to use it to transport your hallucinated Colossus and like actually harass or something. This warp prism makes absolutely no sense. If you have if you literally in your mind have the plan to, if you played this game and you killed 4 zealots, I agree, killing 4 zealots is like, what the fuck is this guy doing? 4 zealots? What the fuck is that? Like, yeah, that's like a scratch your head moment where you're like, I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but okay. But you should not kill 4 zealots and have a 2 gateway production versus a 3 gateway. As far as you've seen so far, 1 base player. This is the first time you've seen his natural. being at his base aggressively like this, you should definitely not have the intention in your mind to go kill him now with a fucking warp prism, because your advantage lies in the natural, not in killing him right now. Like, you invested into the natural, he did not. So it actually is in your favor to extend the game longer, not to just try to win with less gateways going warp in all in. So I disagree with this attack 100%. And as you can see, he has fucking 8 units to your 4. Or your 5. You have 5. Because you have a sentry too. But still, you have 8 versus 5. You're going to lose. Even though you killed 4 zealots. Great. That's nice. He killed one of your 3 or one of your stalkers died as well to those zealots. And a couple of your probes died, I think. Like 1 or 2 probes died. But, like, you shouldn't expect to overpower his gateways when he's got more gateways than you. And now what you just did is you just threw your army away, and you gave him momentum now to have a chance to attack you again. You have to start over. And also, when you attack like that, you're not macroing anything. You are making probes at least, but you're not using your gateway cooldowns, and you're not using your robo cooldown. You haven't done shit with your robo since the prism flew across the map, and it's already in the middle of the map, and your robo is still sitting there, just chilling. And half of the fucking chrono boost was wasted as well, because I saw that chrono boost. Watch this. At 5:01, the prism finishes. This thing is still chrono boosted for 9 seconds. And nothing happens. Your gateway cooldowns have been ready the whole time as well. And you are making no units. Because you're trying to attack. Now, if he attacks you, you're in a situation again where he's got 6 units still left over after that fight. You have 2. And you don't have a battery still. This is really bad. So that attack was very ill-advised. That was like giving your opponent confidence and momentum again to actually potentially fuck you up. And you still have the advantage though, because you have way better economy, but you should be relying on that in the first place, not deciding to go attack him. That attack made literally no sense at all. Your advantage is not in killing him right now. Your advantage is utilizing your economy. I was hoping you would miss that. No. I catch everything, dude. That's why people always tell me, ViBE, this replay, please tell me about this specific thing. I'm like, you don't gotta tell me, you don't gotta break the replay down for me. Don't worry, I'll fucking see what you do, and I'll tell you if it's fucking good or bad. So now you're still trying to do something with your prism. This at least might turn him around. Like, if I was honestly in your situation, I would say the fact that you just showed him the prism is actually maybe not the worst idea, as long as you have no intentions of using it, because this might make him overreact and go like, hey, go defend yourself. Oh shit, there's a prism in my base. I hope to God you don't actually use it, because if you use it, it's gonna do nothing. But if you keep him defensive now, it then gives you the seconds you need to actually utilize this economy, which is way better than what he has. Every second that goes by, you're getting ahead. So you should capitalize on that. And do things that put you more ahead, like make more production, make more units at a faster rate than he can. He has 3 gates to your 2 gates now, and you're fighting him in the early game, which is his advantage. But if you actually wait until you have 2 bases saturated to his 1, and now you have 5 gates or 6 gates to his 3, you get the advantage, and you just produce at a faster rate than he does. You can't just fucking be like, well, I'm 1 base and I'm gonna go 6 gates as well now. You can't fucking afford that. There's limitations with your money. Also, you gotta fix your saturation. 2 probes here, 1 probe here, go to this gas and it would be fine, but you're leaving 4 and 18. That's a little fucked up. I'm glad you built a battery. Why? Okay, you warped in stalkers over here. Why? This should never work. All this does is here's what this really does, okay? If your opponent, let me tell you something. If your opponent doesn't give a shit, and he's like, you know what? Fuck that prism. I'm gonna kill you now. And he walks across the map with his superior army. You know what happens? Your whole mineral line dies. Because you have no fucking units here. Because you're trying to warp it aggressively over there. And then he has so many gates that he could actually overpower both sides of your army because, again, you're forcing the game into early fights. You have 2 stalkers and 2 stalkers. How many units does your opponent have? He's got 6 stalkers and fucking 3 zealots. He has, what is this? That's 18 supply to your 8. He has 18 army supply to your 8 right now of gateway units. He could kill you on both sides. He could literally have his stalkers and zealots here right now, kill this army, and then he could just warp in 3 stalkers here and kill that. So this is so ill-advised to pressure him like this. This is like, I didn't mind the prism that was like, I thought you were going to do this too. This is way too, like, just ridiculous. It's not what you should be doing right now. Again, this is not your advantage. All right, moving forward.
I am here. I return to serve.
And also, here's this classic case of over microing. Every single time you've microed, you don't macro. Everyone fucking does this. And people are like, but ViBE. Shut up. Stop talking. Okay? No buts. I did macro. Sir Gamer More, I'm not actually focusing at you. A lot of people say this shit. They're like, I am macroing. I am macroing. Do you see my money? Dude, I spend it. Look at my money. They're like, ViBE, do you know what macro is? Do you understand the definition of macro? Look at that money, dude. Better than a GSL player. I got that bank down to 20 minerals. Easy. Fucking easy, boys. And I'm like, all right, no, you're spending okay. So sometimes. Like, you definitely just spent enough right now. But here's the thing, though. This is the thing I would say, okay? We're at 6 minutes into the game. So far, you've lost a couple... I don't know how many gateway units you've lost exactly because there was a couple probes mixed in, I think. But you've had 2 gateways up for a long time. You built this second gateway really fast, like as you built the core. You had this third gateway now, probably for about a full minute, maybe like a minute and a half. You built it around the time when you built the robo, I think. And then you're building another 2 gateways and 4 gateways. You're going all the way up right now to 7 gates and a council. Now, this makes sense if you're going to go all in now. If you take a 3rd base, this makes no sense. This is overproduction. And the other reason why I say this makes no sense is because you are producing so many gateways, and I guarantee if we were to go back and I were to look at how many seconds were not being utilized in every gateway you own, it's not going to be something like, well, between all 3 gateways so far, you've only missed like 25 seconds. I guarantee between all 3 gateways, you've probably missed 3 minutes of production. Because you got to realize each gateway represents a second. So if you miss a second and all 3 gates are sitting there, that counts for 3 seconds you've missed. Because it's each gateway. Each gateway represents a second. I guarantee you've missed a fuckload of seconds. Because you are still at 6 minutes sitting on an army size that is 5 stalkers defensively and an immortal and 2 stalkers and a prism. This army is so tiny. If I were to go to a replay and do my own, and we were to go to 6.5 minutes, my army supply right now could probably be like 90. Power of a shield battery is very good. You just lost nothing other than some energy, and you just wiped out like 2 stalkers. That was good. You're trying to be really fancy. You're trying to be like partying over here with your prism. But this is what I mean, though. Watch this, okay? Watch this. You're trying to be partying right now. I get it. It's fun. I totally understand the fun aspect of it. But if you want to actually get better at StarCraft, look at production, okay? Now, I'm going to do this just for right now. 6:47. 6 minutes and 47 seconds. So right now, every second that goes by is 4 seconds. Every second that goes by represents 4 seconds because it's 4 gateways that are ready to go. You're also supply blocked. The 6:47 is when we started. So from 6:47 to 6:56, that's 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds. That's 4 times 9. That's 36 seconds that you just missed. 36, up to this point, 36 seconds of your macro has been missed. between all of your gateways. Okay? Now, it's by 5 seconds every time because you're still not macroing. So at 6:56, we're starting again. And every second that goes by represents 5. So let's go. 66. You still haven't produced anything. Now, we're going to pause it at 7:09, and now you're at 7 gates. So 6:56 to 7:09. That's 13 seconds of time that has gone by again. That's 13 times 5. What is 13 times 5? That's 65. 65 seconds again now on top of that. It's 36 seconds and 65 seconds of time that is, both of them have been missed for macroing. And now we got 7 gates. Now every second at 7:09 counts for 7 fucking seconds. Every second counts for 7 now. So 7:09 start it until you build something on your gateways. $724. You built your first unit. So 7:09 to 7:24, that's 15 seconds. Times 15 times 7 is 105. Right? Is that right? 105 seconds. Again. That have been missed on your macro. Well, he is supply blocked. It does not fucking take, like, very long to build a pylon. And you could have built pylons instead of doing Prism 2 stalker, fly over, Prism 3 stalker, fly over, micro, fly over, lose it, run back. Multitasking. It fucking destroys platinum players like crazy. And gold players, and silver players, and bronze players. Players in platinum or below struggle really hard to macro. And just saying he was supply blocked is not an excuse. It's a fact. You're not wrong. That is a fact. I even said that before I even broke this down. I did say he is supply blocked. It's a fact. That's not wrong, but it is incorrect though, because this should not be a supply block. The goal should actually be macro, not parting micro. Especially, here's the thing. It's not only about the fact that parting micro is not good for platinum players because of it's bad for multitasking for platinum players. That's not even the only reason. That's half of it. The other half, the more important half, is conceptually, it's fucking really strategically, it makes no sense. And why does it make no sense? It's because why the fuck is the player who has the eco advantage, the economy advantage, and has had it for a long time, being overly aggressive? Why? You actually gave yourself a chance to lose the game by warping in aggressively when you had nothing to defend your natural, and your opponent is basically one base outletting you. Like, why the fuck would you, like, why wouldn't you just defend your natural? And then if he attacks you, you defend your natural, and then you win anyways. The only thing that happened is if your opponent decided to not react to the prism and just say, fuck it, 2 stalkers are my main, I don't care. And he shows up at your base with his whole army and he kills your whole natural. He resets you to 1 base, and if he just warps in 1 more round of stalkers in his base, he could defend your prism. Just 1, because you had 2 stalkers. And you only had 2 stalkers here. Like, you could have died earlier while you were doing that. It makes no sense strategically, because you're putting the game into a gamble. So that's why that honestly, that is why I am like really trying to stress that it's not good to do that. And obviously, also people are probably like, ViBE, why are you getting so mad at this guy? I'm not getting mad at him. He just wanted me to rip him a new one. Here's what he asked for. He said, ViBE, please rip me a new one. I want to know how to get better at StarCraft. So I'm trying. I'm trying to tell him what's up. But yeah, like none of that shit that we just saw for the last like couple minutes made any sense. And you're making a fucking second prism. What are you doing? Dude, don't fucking double... You cannot double prism micro. You can't even single prism micro. I don't want to make you sad, but fuck. Stop doing builds that are like ridiculously hard to do for even a GM player. You know what this reminds me of? Legit. I fucking want to like strangle people that tell me shit like this, that are like Masters players or Diamond players, where they can't handle like a build that's more simple. So what they do is they watch like GSL and they're like, fucking Stats did this, dude. I saw fucking Hero do this. This is the hero PvP special. The guy that is a fucking pro gamer who does this for a job, and he practices this build probably like 8 hours a day for his match that he's gonna do it in. They're like, yeah, I'm doing his build. It's good. It looked good. Well, fuck, do you have any idea how much preparation went into that? It's not just like he shows up and does double prism. He fucking has lots of practice. So trying to do it yourself, especially in platinum, is like, I'm not even gonna say anything. I'll just let actions speak for themselves. I imagine we're gonna watch a couple prisms explode. And they're just gonna die. Okay, so we have prism over here moving, and we got prism over here moving. Let's see what happens. Okay. One stalker died. All the zealots died. You killed, I think, probably like 4 probes there, 5 probes there. Now you're doing the second prism. You're breaking them down hardcore. He's definitely doing the much easier route, which is A-moving you. You killed here, I think you probably killed, what, like 4 probes again? And you killed 1 stalker, and you sacrificed 3 stalkers to do it. Now you're coming back in with the other prism. I'm gonna keep watching this. I will say at the very least, I like that you're taking a 3rd base. But I can't tell you how much of a disgusting taste in my mouth I have watching a platinum player try to do a build like this. Because I'm just watching someone do something that is way above their range this early, and like if you genuinely want to get better, this is not how you're gonna do it. Like I think you could eventually do shit like this, but not right now. Like, for instance, I'm going to tell you about your micro, okay? I'm going to comment on your micro for a second. I'm going to tell you how you're doing it. I'm going to watch you do it, and then I'm going to tell you how you should have done it. Okay, let's watch you do it here. Okay, okay, we'll go back and because I'm watching your micro here for a second. We'll watch all of it. So we got this, we got this, we got this, warping and zealots. We got this. This is killing probes. This is getting executed. And that was full of 3 stalkers as well. You lost that prism with 3 stalkers in it. You are killing a lot of probes though. And you get out. You sack the zealots and you get out. So you gotta realize, every time you do these attacks, you keep throwing away a bunch of units at the same time. It seems cool, but you're throwing away shit repeatedly. Now, let me tell you how I think you should have microed this, okay? If you're gonna go double fucking prism, this is what I think you should have done. This prism right now is being microed, okay. This prism right now is being microed, okay, up to this point. This prism should have nothing inside of it. Whatever prism, or this prism should have 3 stalkers in it, and this prism should have nothing inside of it, and it should be, whatever prism has nothing inside of it should be second. Okay? If you're going to warp in zealots, if that's your goal. Whatever prism is not going to be the initial prism should have nothing inside of it, because you have a distraction prism, and you have a you know, for lack of a, okay, I'm not going to say it. It's gross. You have a zealot prism. A prism that's going to warp in zealots. Okay, that's the plan. So the fact that you do this, you stop, you hit D, click the ground. It comes to a stop. It goes drop, 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 and then it goes into phase mode. That is like 2 fucking seconds of wasted time, of just waiting for the drop. You know you can drop while it's in transport mode, or sorry, while it's in phase mode is what I meant to say. You can do that. But I don't even think you should be dropping fucking stalkers at the phase prism. The one that's full of stalkers should never fucking stop like that, ever. Because if your opponent had any fucking indication that you were here, and he caught you as you phased it, he would walk over here, snipe the prism, and kill your stalkers, and you're fucked. So this is already a horrible idea versus better Protoss players. The prism that has nothing inside of it, it should have nothing inside of it, that's going to be the second prism, can be the one that goes into his base and phases and goes zealot warp in. That's fine. And you try to kill probes and stuff like that. I don't care which prism goes first, but the prism that goes first could have Stalker, the prism that goes second could have nothing. The prism that goes first as well should go like this. You could literally carpet bomb drop it to where instead of coming to a stop, I don't know why I'm trying to also teach micro to platinum. This is probably the only part of this game I'm going to do this in, because you shouldn't be doing this kind of shit. So imagine if your prism was still flying forward. It's still flying forward. It doesn't. You don't hit D ground. You fly over the top of the ground and you hit D. Click the prism itself. Why is this important? Because when the prism is moving, it makes it harder to kill. You have easier chances. It still has its acceleration. It can turn and leave immediately and not have to go from 0 to whatever its move speed is. It has no acceleration process. It's already full speed. It's like driving a car and coming to a complete stop and then turning it on again and starting up again, or having a car just take a left turn at full fucking speed. Like, you're going to get to your destination faster if you don't fucking stop. So having it declick the ground is a bad idea. It's going to increase the chances you could die. So the fact that you click the ground is terrible. You should definitely click the prism itself and keep it moving. That way, if he is here, you have an evacuation plan quickly. And you don't have a chance to die. Then when you get his attention, when you actually know where he is and it's not a fog of war tactic where you're like, I have no idea. Did you guys hear my voice right there? My throat's so dry as I'm talking so much. It's like I had a whistle in my throat. When you're, what's it called? When you know where he is, then you can commit the phasing prism. Up until that point, you don't commit. This is risky, is all it is. It's a gamble. It's like potentially death. The fact that you just commit to it when you're blind is like, dude, you could totally just die. Which is exactly what happens here. You just commit to this base too, at the same time as this one, blindly. And he sees you with an observer and he just kills you. So you have to like kind of know where he is and then commit on the opposite. Drag him over here with your one prism, load up, leave. He comes here. You go into his base with the other prism when he's not there for sure, and then you phase in. The fact that you throw your zealots away every single time you've done a drop, you warp in shit, you only evacuate with a few units, and you just let the rest die. That's also not good. That's very wasteful as fuck. It's super wasteful, which is exactly why, if you think about this, check this out. I'm gonna now fast forward it to when it all dies. You leave his base, you just killed some probes. So, resources lost. Would you believe it? Would you believe it if I said you were behind right now in resources lost? Now, you're not behind in the game because you're mining more than he is. But would you believe me if I said you fucking threw away more resources than he has? Like, these attacks you're doing are wasteful as fuck. And you keep doing them. You keep just blindly committing. His army's there. You warp in a bunch and you evacuate with half and you let the other half die. What was that? What did I just witness? Yo, JD, thank you very much for the prime, dude. What's up? What up? Okay, what is this? You have stalkers and immortals and stuff hitting this base. He has charge lots and more stalkers than you. You move command into him. You need to stop attacking. Sir Gamer More, I'm not going to tell you how to micro anymore. Stop attacking. Macro. That was a big ass waste. You are throwing. You know what's happening. You want to know what's happening. Your macro is getting you ahead in this game repeatedly. Like you are macroing, not perfect by any means, but you are definitely macroing better than your opponent. You are definitely macroing better than your opponent. But you know what you're doing though? You are throwing this game away with your aggression, repeatedly, over and over and over and over. Because I don't feel like you understand the concept, which is okay. I'm not trying to make fun of anyone here. It's okay. The better you get at StarCraft, the more this concept will make sense. But I really feel like you don't understand the concept of, if I'm ahead, I can be defensive. Like, why do you feel like you have to attack so fucking much and throw your army away repeatedly when you're the one who has a better economy? Look at the economy. Remember how I said your resources lost is worse than his? Look at the probe count. This is after he recovered too. We'll back it up to when you just killed a bunch. Watch this. Before you threw the army away. This is after you threw a bunch of units away again. Look at that fucking worker count. Look at that worker count. You are the top number. You definitely have the lead here. And if you just macroed, like, how the fuck do you only have 54 probes by 10 minutes? You know why that is? Because you're overly aggressive and you're like trying to be fancy. He's killed he's killed one worker, your scout. He's killed your scout. That's it. Yet, you've only managed to make 54 probes in 10 minutes. You could be maxed in 10 minutes. With Protoss. If you lose one probe all game. So, or I think the one probe died actually was down here with the Zealots. But yeah, like, your macro is definitely not worse than his, but it's definitely worse than what it should be. And Plat. And it's because you're trying to play this game like you're just a fucking micro god who's just overly aggressive. But you don't understand the concept of like when I'm ahead, I'm just gonna get more ahead by building more stuff. Instead, you're ahead economically, and you're trying, like, you're basically, you have better economy than him, and you could eventually buy more than him, but you're just rushing fights right away. Like, I don't know how to give you an analogy to describe this in a funny way, but yeah, I feel like you get the concept. Like, if you just gave yourself 2 minutes of pure macro, it would make a big difference in your army size. You would have so much more. But instead, you're choosing to fight him with, like, it's like little mercenary armies where it's like, okay, 3 guys go over there, 3 guys go over there. Oh, we're all dead. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. So, even though you're throwing fucking units away like crazy, you're still able to maintain a decent supply to his. But you're throwing away units like crazy. Like, look at the army size. You're still tied, yet you threw away a fuckload more resources than he has. At this point. It's because you mine more than he does. And like, what the fuck? Okay. What is that? What is happening right now? What is the Prism Micro? You are... never use this unit again. Don't, like, literally tell yourself I cannot use a Prism until I'm in Masters. Stop using this unit. All it does... You know what? Okay, here's an analogy for you. You want to know what you're doing? It's like, imagine if you're playing basketball. Okay? Imagine if you were playing basketball. And, like, you have a drill. You're doing drills. And what's the drill? Learning how to dribble the ball while moving. It's like just the basics. Like learning how to dribble. And you're like, fuck that shit. And you go like, you keep spinning and you keep throwing the ball off your finger. And you spin it again and it hits someone in the face. You spin it again and it stays on your finger for like literally 1.5 seconds. And you're like, 1.5 seconds that time? Do it again. Do it again. And you're like, I'm going to get it. And then they're like, okay, dribble the ball. And you're like, you dribble 2 times and it bounces off your foot and flies across the fucking floor. And you're like, fuck it. Spin it again. Spin it again. Like, you don't even have the basics down yet. Yet you're trying to play so fucking fancy. And we can see that it's clearly throwing the game away for you. And like your Prism microing as well while you're getting attacked. And your Prism just got totally shit on. And here comes another Prism. I'm gonna watch your camera for a second. What's happening on your screen? What's so important? I can't wait to watch the Prism Micro. Here it comes. Okay, now, this is the first time this whole game I will say your Prism actually makes sense. The first time. It's kind of scary still for you because you don't know what he has entirely. But here's why it makes sense. If your opponent... There's 2 steps to it, okay? 2 steps to a good Prism. Step number 1. If my opponent attacks me, I won't die. That's number 1. Number 2. while my opponent attacks me and I won't die, I counterattack him with a little bit of stuff. And if he doesn't react properly or at all or whatever, I'm going to take an even bigger lead that forces him to feel like he has to attack me even more. So right now is the first time I will say your Prism actually makes any sense at all. Why? And again, why is that? Because you just shut his attack down hardcore. This attack just got stuffed badly. So this Prism, if you do something with it now, makes sense because this army just beat his. So if he can't do anything aggressively to you, and he's also committed across the map to try to do that, you could definitely kill like some probes here and put him into a bigger all-in than he already is. So that's the first time I will say your Prism makes any sense in this game. We'll see what you do with it. 4 zealots, that's a good number. That's fine. And see, like now, you're actually putting him in a situation where you're overpowering his army and you're also killing probes simultaneously. This Prism is not bad, but if you warp in another fucking round of units at this Prism, I'm gonna be like, what the hell are you doing? You should, you know what you should do? Back the fuck up with your army. Back up. Like, unless you know you're gonna kill him, back up. But if you start over warping in here and he overpowers it with half of, like if he fights half your army with like his whole army over here, and then you're killing like a gateway or something over here, and then he comes back over now to the bottom and fights half of your army again with his whole army, this is gonna be really bad. So don't overdo it. Do damage, set him behind, rely on your expansion. Okay? Rely on your next base as well, and go from there. We'll see how this goes and what you do. Do not warp in anymore here. For the love of God, please don't. You're phasing again. While you're phasing that Prism, you backed up your army. Thank God. I was about to say, if you just let your army walk in one by one by one by one in that doorway, and it all dies, I'm gonna be like very disappointed. So now these zealots are killing two. These zealots actually killed 2 immortals because they were caught by themselves. They also killed a whole mineral line. That was a fucking great Prism. Do you notice how I can actually tell? Like I literally, that was the first time I complimented it. And that was the first time you actually did good damage. Your zealots are, your 4 zealots are still alive, and you got 3 kills, 2 kills, 3 kills, 3 kills, and those are all probes and 1 immortal. That's a great drop, and they're still alive. And here comes another immortal death. That's fucking amazing. And they're gonna go back for the probes again. This Prism was great. If you warp it again, you just lost all control in his base. It makes no sense to attack him again. At this point. Like, take your damage and run with it. And the reason why it made sense to do that attack is because there was no way he could stop it. You have to really understand that concept. If your opponent has all the right to stop your Prism drop, don't fucking do it. It doesn't make any sense. But if your opponent is getting overpowered by your main army because you have more shit than he does, and then you add on a Prism to it, he can't stop it. Suddenly it becomes a serious problem. And now that your army is no longer in his base, in the area of his base at all, I'm glad you backed up, by the way. But backing up with this army, you should have backed up with this. If you fucking warp in here, you know what I see happening? This one was great. This was a powerful fucking Prism warp in. This one is going to look like hot garbage in his base. And you're going for it. It's DTs, though. At the very least, it's DTs. DTs have more of a chance. Because they're actually more of a problem because they're cloaked. And they hit fucking hard. So, I could actually see you now potentially killing something crucial tech-wise or killing the Nexus and recalling out. That could totally work. That could work. I'm glad it's not Zealots, at least. But, we'll see what you do. Killing an upgrade is not bad. If you fucking leave them, though, and let them die, what a waste of money. So far, you killed an upgrade. Nice. But definitely not justifiable to say 5 DTs can die for that. I would definitely not justify that. Because this is expensive and you're not rich. Let's see what else happens. You've killed 2 Forges and a Pylon. And a Stalker. 2 Forges, a Pylon, and a Stalker. And a Core. 2 Forges, a Pylon, a Stalker, and a Core. That's not worth it still. That was close. That was getting to be a little bit better. Definitely not worth it still, though. 2 Forges, One of them wasn't even doing anything. The other one was. So like delaying his upgrade is nice, but he can just rebuild it and build an upgrade. Whatever. PvP upgrades are like not that huge compared to other matchups, I feel like. Also, why is this guy going fucking 1-1-1? I don't know. Anyways. Yeah, the forges is nice to kill the upgrade, but not the hugest of deals, I would say, in PvP. The pylon, who fucking cares? The core, kind of nice if he was still making stalkers, but I feel like this dude's making just zealots like you are now. Like, does he have charge? He has charge. I feel like he's gonna be going for. He should be going charge lots as well, especially if he's going triple robo. So you didn't do anything to delay his zealot immortal composition and Templar. If I don't think he has a Templar archives though. And then lastly, the killing the stalker, that was nice. But one stalker is not worth 5 DTs. 5 DTs is like 1,000 resources or more. It's like 1,300 resources, 1,200 resources. It's fucking expensive, is what it is. But I will say I like the fact that you killed another base. Like, see, now, the fact that you warped in DTs into his main, you pulled him into his main, this made sense. Again. You keep doing things that, like, I feel like you just don't understand. You do things that make sense a little bit, but then it makes no fucking sense because you just let it die. Here's how this should have happened, okay? Sir Gamermore, this is probably one of the most stressful replay analyses I've ever done because you're not above plat and you're not playing like a plat. And I can clearly see this because you make good and then bad choices, which means it proves that you, mostly bad choices, which means it proves you have no idea what's going on. And you are not playing the way you should be in plat. At all. You're playing in a way that's overly fucking aggressive and you will constantly, but you're also macroing, which is the only reason why you're even here in the first place. If you didn't actually macro like this, you would be like fucking Silver League. Serious, I'm being dead serious. I hate having to coach you on strategy because it's like this is gonna take fucking hours to go over. It's above where you're at right now, for sure. Now let's talk about this really fast, okay? This concept. Your DTs are in his main. They're killing his shit in his main. You could have totally recalled these DTs out right now even. You already lost a DT, didn't you? To the fucking cannon? You know he's here. Yeah, you did. He's here. You got lucky as fuck. He doesn't have an observer. You know what you should do right now? You should get the fuck out of here. Like, don't stay. You know where his army is. And look what you're doing as well at the same time. Your prism is doing more shit. Get out of his main base. Right now. Leave. Recall. Get the fuck out of here. And look what you're doing here. You're warping in shit. And why is this important if you get out of here? They've already done the job. You know what their job was? Do whatever damage they could, but get his army out of position if this was your plan. You could have saved the majority of these DTs, if not all of them, if you didn't chase him into a cannon. And you know his army's here because you see his army's here. You physically fucking see it. His army came back. Now, if you warped in zealots and DTs here, and you recalled these out, these wouldn't die. They would go back home because you recalled them out. These units could kill the Nexus because you know his army's out of position, and these could walk home. They just did crucial damage to him. Fucking leave. Because if you recall out, they died, but they're gone either way, right? But now they're dead because you let them die. But they're dead now. They're not in his base anymore. So what's going to happen? Logically, he's going to fucking run down to the bottom to go kill your other army. So if you stay here and throw these fucking units away, it makes no sense again. It was like good damage followed by a waste.
You spent too much time, Tai. This is now Koji.
Dude, thank you for Sir Gamer, thank you very much for the 25. And you know I love you, man. I'm just ripping you a new one because you asked me to. I'm being very critical on you. But that's a perfect point right there. Like you strategically, you had the first half of it. Like I disagreed with you putting the prism in his main at all. But then I was like, oh, DTs, it actually has a chance now because it's more It's different. It works differently than just zealots do. It's more of a problem for now for him, and you can see it was because he didn't have detection at his main. He like walked up and walked down. But then you set up another attack with it, which actually made sense then because you were pulling and poking him opposites. But then you fucking let both sides die. You just keep, literally, all you're doing is you're playing with the laziest fucking
I like
prism.
when you are rough with me, Daddy.
Oh yeah, thank you, Blank Picture. You're playing the laziest warp prism I think I've ever seen. You just, it's like you're being like this. You're like imagine if like there was a pilot in the warp prism, and then he just literally has like stickers in his hand, or like a stamp, and he like stamps everyone that jumps out of the prism, and he's like, it's literally like fucking Suicide Squad. You guys are not coming back. You ain't coming back. Do as much as you can. Fucking do it. I don't know. You're not coming back. Like everyone just gets out of the prism and just dies. There's zero conservativeness to your units. It's just like you make them out of the prism, and if they get made out of that prism, forget about them. I don't know. Maybe my opponent will leave the game. Otherwise, they're dead, obviously. Like, what is that? What the, okay, that was the worst warping you've ever done. The fuck was that? Your opponent's even worse, by the way. What was this? He is right here. He's in your fucking face. And you just warp prism right in his face. Why the fuck does he recall? I don't know. But should never work. Let me give you another analogy about what this is like. This army compared to what your prism is. Imagine a man who's like in shorts only. And you can see he's like really skinny too. You can see his fucking ribs, okay? Imagine a guy, he's got a beard. It's like a 65-year-old man. He's like, oh, fuck, I'm going outside to the bullpen. And he walks into a pen with a bull in it. And the bull's like strong as fuck, okay? And the guy literally starts like fucking slapping the bull in the face. Fuck you! That's what you just did here. Like, how the fuck do you think you could beat this army with a prism? Dude, what? ViBE, are you okay? Yeah, no, that's a good analogy. It's like asking to die. It's asking to die. Are you sure? Yeah. What do you think is gonna happen when the old guy, who you can see his ribs, slaps the bull? It's probably gonna like gore his ass, or it's gonna like knock him on the ground and like break his ribs, and then it's over. It's just like, what's gonna happen here realistically? What should happen? Warping in zealots into 8 fucking immortals. It's just kidding, or you know, is it? Yeah, sorry. It's 8 immortals, 5 stalkers, and 2 zealots. If you just warp a phase of prism right in its face, you're like, let's warp into that. What do you think's gonna happen? You're gonna get shit on. You're not even gonna kill 1 unit here. You're just gonna be like, wow, 3 zealots died before I even warped in, and then I'm charging into death. And the prism dies. Damn. And this proves this prism is just like, you might as well make the pilot of this prism blind. And it's like fucking, he's just like hitting pedals to like warp shit in, like fucking go. Like, holy shit, dude, you're warping us into fucking nothing. We're gonna fall into the abyss. And he's just like, go. Dude, like, your prism micro is making me angry. It's not actually making me angry, but it's just like ridiculous. Here we go again. And now what happens? He's had like a surplus of immortals. And you've made nothing but stalkers. Because you've thrown away, and you're warping in fucking archons now. It's just chaos, is what it is. He shows up with a shit like a full line of immortals versus a full line of stalkers, It doesn't matter if you have 2 batteries here or no batteries. You're going to get destroyed in this fight. And his immortals are just going to roll your ass over. As we just saw. If you would have just macroed at one point in this game, just one point in this game, and just macroed, and stopped fucking using this unit. Literally, the best advice I gave you this whole game so far, stop making this unit. You want to get better at StarCraft? Stop fucking making warp prisms. And you'll get like, you'll be like, wow, I'm fucking masters vibe. You're going to be that success story that goes from rags to riches. You'll be like, I had a warp prism addiction. Vibe told me I should stop. When I did, I went from Platinum 3 to Masters 2 in just a month. Things were crazy. Dude, stop fucking using a prism. This unit is like making your whole game plan complete garbage. This is when immortals are immortal, when they fight 20 probes. And now you're super dead. What's all those observers for? It's platinum, and this guy freaked out as well because there was DTs constantly being warped into a prism. You gotta realize as well, right? If you're a platinum player, in the red's perspective, and you're like, Jesus fucking Christ, prism, 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 prism. This guy probably played the most stressful game of his life. Zeth is probably like, for the love of God, please don't let me find Sir Gamer more again, because that game was fucking stressful as hell. Holy shit, I hated that game. Meanwhile, you got fucking Sir Gamer more brain like, go, 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 go! And like they go back to the drawing board, back at his fucking base, and the Kala is like, half of our zealots are dying without doing anything. We're literally making them commit suicide. Look at this last warp in. It's like a zealot warps in. A zealot warps into a fucking tree branch. And a zealot spawns. A zealot's like, for the Kala. And then it fucking warps in and it has a tree trunk through its stomach. And it's like, oh god, I'm dead. We gotta be a little more efficient with our zealots next time. Meanwhile, you got Prison Pilot. Go, go, go! Bro, maybe be a little bit more accurate about how we use our units. My life for fuck. Oh, I'm dead. Seriously, your Prism, stop using that unit. No. Don't use that unit anymore. No more Prism. And you'll be better. Anyways. Long story short, how to give you analysis. Don't worry about your micro. Just stop doing it, and you'll get promoted. Make a little bit more, try your best to make a little bit more of intelligent reads early on in the game. By, like, for instance, don't freak out by the probe timing and stuff like that, like we talked about. Like, try to really break that down in your mind. That's a big one. So don't feel intimidated to be like, I'm going to take a Nexus. Because you're going to do it anyways. Number 2, just macro. Literally just macro. And number 3, if you want to use a Prism, only use it one time at a time, like once at a time. Don't use it like repeatedly over and over and over. We're talking one warp in. One, if you can't resist and you have that fucking, it's like crack to you and you're like, I have to fucking use one. The only time it ever makes sense to use a Prism, okay, is late game. When you're already like high supply and you defend an attack and you know you're going to live the attack. You live, you defend, you're fine. And then you warp in at the same time in his base. Not with 16 DTs or like 4 Archons and 8 Zealots. Just with like 8 Zealots or like 5 Zealots or 4 Zealots. Just one round of Zealots. Just make it a quick round of Zealots and once only and done. Stop. And then just literally right after you warp in the Zealots, unphase the Prism. Don't leave it there. Unphase that shit and fly it to like there or something or like there. Fly it out of his base. And you can use it again a second time if the exact same scenario happens again. Otherwise, if you feel like that's still, you're like, no, I'm not really understanding what the fuck Vibe means by this. If that's how you feel, stop using that unit altogether. If you just stop using it, you'll win even more. Like that prism is just ruining your life in terms of like how you're choosing strategically to micro here, or how to use your units, because you keep just throwing your army away. From go, fucking Walter the Warp Prism pilot who just is, he's high on life, dude. He just wants every unit to go quickly now. He doesn't give a shit. But thank you for, like, anyways, that's gonna do it for me on this week analysis, guys. I hope you found it enjoyable, informative. I hope it made sense to you guys. Really, macro is key here. If it just happened, if macro was just focused on more, this game would have been a lot better for Sir Gamer More, for sure. But thank you again, Sir Gamer More, for the analysis. Much love for the tip as well. I appreciate it, dude. Thank you. On top of it. But thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take it easy. Much love. Have a great night. Adios. Peace out.